One of the most important uses of galvanic cell is the generation of portable electrical energy devices, which is popularly known as batteries. An electrochemical cell which is used as a commercial cell must fulfill the following criteria. It should be light, compact, it should have a reasonable life, and it should provide almost steady voltage without much drop. The electrochemical cell can be classified depending upon their usage as primary cell and secondary cell. Now, what is the difference between a primary cell and a secondary cell? A primary cells are those cells which can only be used once. They become dead after that and are not chargeable. The examples are dry cells and your mercury cell. Secondary cells are those which can be used again and again by recharging. The examples are lead storage cell, nickel cadmium cell, lithium polymer ion cell, which is nowadays used in the mobile phones. Now let us understand the working principle of dry cell. Dry cell is basically a Leclanché cell, which consists of a zinc container which acts as a negative electrode. Cathode is made up of graphite rod, which is the positive electrode. The electrolyte consists of a mixture of manganese dioxide, ammonium chloride, and zinc chloride. It is used in radios, torches, toys, and many other devices. The anodic and cathodic reactions are as follows. At anode, zinc is oxidized to Zn2+. At cathode, MnO2 is reduced to Mn in its +3 oxidation state in the presence of ammonium ion. Ammonia is released, but it is not liberated as a gas. It is immediately formed into a complex due to the presence of Zn2+. It provides a almost steady voltage from 1.25 to 1.35. Some of the disadvantage of this dry cell is that it does not have a long life due to the presence of ammonium chloride, which is actually acidic, and it corrodes the zinc. Even if the battery is kept for long without use, the zinc gets corroded and the battery starts to leak. Now let us consider the mercury cell, which is a very compact cell having the size and a shape of a button. Hence, it is also known as button cell. It is used in very small devices like hand watches, toys, hearing aids, etc. It consists of zinc amalgam, which acts as anode, and a paste of mercuric oxide and carbon acts as cathode. The paste of potassium hydroxide and zinc oxide is used as electrolyte. The anodic reaction involves oxidation of zinc to zinc oxide. Cathodic reaction involves the reduction of mercuric oxide to mercury. If you look into the overall reaction, Since there is no change in the ionic concentration, the cell potential remains approximately same throughout at around about 1.35 volt. This is one of the advantages of mercury cell. Secondary cells are those which can be recharged and used again and again, just as your mobile batteries. They are recharged by passing an electric current through an external source. Lead storage cell is a very common cell which has a long history of usage. It is used in automobiles and inverters. It consists of a lead anode, and the cathode consists of a grid of lead packed with lead dioxide, which acts as cathode. A 38% solution of sulfuric acid, which has a density of 1.30 grams per centimeter cube, acts as electrolyte. Each battery consists of 3 or 6 voltaic cell connected in series to give 6 to 12 volt battery. The reaction in anode and cathode are very important. At anode, the solid lead is oxidized to lead sulfate, and at cathode, lead dioxide is reduced to lead sulfate in acid media. During discharge, the sulfuric acid is consumed. Therefore, during recharging, the sulfuric acid is produced. We can also say that the lead storage cell can act as a voltaic cell during discharging and as an electrolytic cell during recharging. Another important cell is nickel cadmium cell, which has a longer life than lead storage cell. It consists of cadmium anode and nickel dioxide as a cathode. Electrolyte is a solution of potassium hydroxide. At anode, the cadmium is oxidized to cadmium oxide, and at cathode, the nickel dioxide is reduced to nickel hydroxide. The cell is more expensive than lead storage cell. Now let us understand what is a fuel cell. Fuel cell is an electrochemical device which is capable of converting the energy of combustion of fuels directly into the electrical energy. Hence, it has got very high efficiency. Its efficiency is around about 74%. One of the most successful fuel cell ever used is the combustion of hydrogen into water. This was used to power the Apollo space program. In this program, the water generated was actually used for drinking. In this cell, the hydrogen and oxygen is bubbled through a porous carbon electrode embedded with platinum or palladium catalyst. The hydrogen and oxygen is bubbled through this porous carbon electrode into an aqueous solution of potassium hydroxide. The catalyst increases the rate of reaction and thereby aids in smoother conversion. At the cathode, the oxygen is reduced to hydroxyl ions, and at anode, hydrogen is oxidized to water. What are the advantages of fuel cell? First and foremost is its efficiency. We have seen that the efficiency of a fuel cell is almost 74%. If you compare it with that of our regular thermal power plants, which has only an efficiency of 40%, which shows that fuel cell is far more superior cell when compared to the regular thermal power plants. Another advantage is it's basically pollution free as there is no harmful products released. If you look into the third advantage, you will see that the fuel cell can continuously supply the energy if you are able to maintain the continuous supply of fuel into these plants. Therefore, we can say that the fuel cell is a big promise for the future generation, and it's a clean green energy source.